Hello everybody, Ricky Tang here, just leaving Fraser's of Gloucester. I was about to say, can you tell what bike I'm on? But you probably can tell by looking at the title of the video. So it's a 2020 Kawasaki Z1000 SX. Now straight off the bat, something I find quite surprising about the riding position. I feel quite high up, surprisingly high. Now, I haven't ridden any adventure tourers, you know, no GS's or V-Stroms or Africa Twins. So I know motorcycle seats can go a lot higher than this, but I'm quite surprised about how high I feel sat on this bike. The other thing is the handlebars are quite high and the riding position feels really quite compact, so I'm quite upright and the handlebars feel quite close to me. Definitely not a stretch unless you have really short arms. So first impressions are good. I was expecting this bike to feel bigger. Strange. I'm struggling to get my head around it. But I'll get there. So yes, we've got a big CC sports tourer here. Sadly, I don't know the weight yet and other basic specs, but I have got a brochure. If it stays dry and we get a chance to stop and have a little walk around, I shall rattle off some specs at you. Still can't get over this riding position, how kind of upright it is and how tall I feel on the seat. Nothing wrong with it, it just wasn't quite what I was expecting. You definitely could call it a relaxing riding position. Got to say, the suspension is doing a good job of flattening the bumps on this road. I'm fairly used to this road, and it's the road we've just been on, and it is quite bumpy. This suspension is dealing with that really well. Surprisingly, as I'm just looking around here, we've got a cable clutch, not a hydraulic clutch. It's light, action's light, and it's span adjustable, so I don't think I'll have any trouble with the clutch. This bike has got a quick shifter. For some reason, I haven't quite figured out yet, you can actually switch the quick shifter off. Now I can't imagine for the life of me why the quick shifter is an option. why you might want to use it. I can't quite understand that. I've been in road mode. This bike has rain, road, sport and rider, user configurable mode. That's nice. I really like the creamy power. It feels very competent. Yeah, and it feels confident in its power delivery and confident on its suspension as well. It's really, so far so good. I know I haven't ridden it for long yet, but yeah, the first impressions are good. Now as I kind of wave it around here on the road, you can feel it's a heavy bike. It is dense. There's no calling this a bike that kind of feels light on its feet, but like I say, the suspension is really compliant. I can see I'm not quite flat footing it here. You can't quite tell from above, but my balls of my feet were touching the ground, but not the heels, not with both feet at the same time anyway. So that's with my 32-inch inside leg. So I mentioned this bike has rider modes: rain, road, sport and rider. Rider mode, you can actually kind of configure your own combination of traction control and throttle map. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Suzuki Bandit that I owned, and I can feel it's got you know, good power and good torque, but because of emissions and noise legislation, it feels rather strangled. I reckon there's more power in this bike to be unleashed. Unfortunately, it won't be cheap. There'll be a end can, an exhaust, or a full system potentially, a power commander or a reflash of the ECU, something like that, and then dyno time to dial it all in, air filter perhaps. But I'm pretty confident there's quite a bit more power in this bike than what I've got right now in its stock state. So far, I've my initial thoughts on the seat. By the way, changing the subject, the seat is there's quite a lot of padding there. The on-off throttle response is quite smooth, just coming on to the power there. Just notice that when you're at zero throttle, when it's left alone, you still got the option to actually roll it in a negative direction, which I believe will cancel your cruise control if you've got that switched on. Now, what I want to do, for some reason, I mentioned this earlier on, the quick shifter is something you can switch on or off. I don't know why, but I'm going to go through the menus here and try and turn it on. Please tell me I can do this with the engine running. There we go. So, vehicle settings. There we are. KQS. So I'll push over, select to grab it. Push up on the mode buttons to select. Push right again on select to accept that. You can see it's on now. Then it's reset. That's basically your back button through the menus. Why you would want to switch it off? Anyway, the gear action itself, well, I wouldn't call it positive. There's no kind of a definitive click. The lever moves. There's quite a bit of travel in the lever, not slop, but travel. But as you change gear, even without the quick shifter, doesn't feel very positive. Handling these little bends perfectly well. The KQS, as I was told, is just upshifts. It's not auto blipper. Oh, hold on a minute. Well, I've just went down on a closed throttle. Quite quick. I just went down on a closed throttle and it did change down gear. On. I do believe it actually has got an auto blipper. I'm going to try that again. I'm going to fifth, zero throttle. Yeah, it seems to be working really well. Up and down. So I'll try and confirm that in the brochure. Bit of open road. There's a bit of an overtaking opportunity. Not much of one, admittedly. Yeah, still feels creamy, this torque. So yeah, you've got this good upright riding position. I'm calling it good now because the advantage is you can kind of see over the tops of cars. I can even see over the top of this Kadjar in front of me to some degree. I would be a little bit lower on my on my BM. No heated grips though, as far as I can see. I'm not sure if that's an option. That'd be nice for riding in cooler climes. So what else while I'm sat on the bike? Mirrors. Now they are quite far away, these mirrors. They don't seem to vibrate much, but I'm not impressed with the quality of the glass. I think that's a nitpick. If it works, who cares? I do believe this bike comes with an IMU, an inertial measurement unit. So I believe you got lean sensitive traction control and ABS. I'll flash up a confirmation on the video here. so hopefully that is the case. The screen's freeway adjustable, but to adjust it you have to push a little lever down kind of in the depths of the fairing there. It's easy to get to at a standstill and then adjust the screen with the other hand, but not easy to do on the move. Probably not recommended either, so I'll leave it. It's on the lowest setting at the moment, and haven't had any complaints yet. No big problems with the with buffeting. I'm sure this bike's got an auto blipper, you know. Gotta have. I'll stake my YouTube career on it. For what it's worth. The acceleration, clearly quick. It's a litre bike. With a fairing, it cuts through the wing quite well. Not explosive. It's not make you cry in a corner quick, but it is quick. Oh, feels nice on that little bend there. When you're using the quick shift to go up a gear, there is a bit of a lurch. I guess when it cuts the power, when it re-engages it. It's not too bad. You can brace for it once you know it's coming. Let's knock it down a gear and get to fourth if I get a chance to overtake. I'm just waiting for the opportunity to open the throttle here at 4,500 RPM in fourth. Do feel a bit of vibration through the seat there, but I've got to say the handlebars so far have been impressively lacking in vibration. So far I'm enjoying this first date. I hope she is too. Oh, I'll take her to all the best places. Oh, it feels very well behaved here at slow speed in second. Really liking the throttle mapping, the engine behaviour at slow speeds. Bit of a lurch there when I just came off the throttle. Just started to accelerate in first, and you let the throttle off, there's a little bit of transmission lash. I think you pretty much get that on any bike to a greater or lesser degree, so nothing to complain about as such. Okay, I think I can pop past. Yeah, so when you give that throttle a tug, hello. That's certainly quick enough to be fun. Yeah, that pulls pretty hard in the higher revs. Let's get into fourth and blipper. Yeah, it's very confident around these bends. Very impressed. It reminds me of a very different bike, the BMW R1250R, which I test rode last year. It just seemed to be able to just sit on the ground and you can heel it over and it still just seems to soak everything up, even if you're going a bit quick. I'm not regretting buying the BMW. I'm not regretting buying a BMW. Brakes are strong. I haven't had a chance to have a good look at them yet. So yeah, it picks up speed fast. Again, just not in a life-threatening way. Or underpart-threatening way. I do feel the wind tugging at my shoulders and below, kind of on the biceps, but helmet is good. No buffeting there at all, actually, for this screen on this lowest position. Hello. Bike just revealed another side of its character there. The front wheel kind of skipping the ground a little bit in first and second. This motorcycle is revealing itself to me. So at the lower revs, if you try and give it a bit of a handful at like 3,000 RPM, just there's no hesitation, just kind of spools up a little slowly before it gets into the 4,000-5,000 RPM range. But if you're doing that in a lower gear, certainly as I'm about to in fourth from 3,000. Yeah, it picks up pretty quick overall. It's just $3,000 is not where it's expecting you to give it a big handful of throttle. I can forgive it that. I can forgive you that, baby. So this is the bike I've been having fun on, and I've got to say it's been a good little blast so far. First of all, the bike surprised me with its kind of a riding position. And secondly, just how confidence inspiring it is. How competent it feels riding on the road. 1043cc with 142 PS at 10,000 RPM. So what's that, about 140 horsepower? And it does feel like it. I haven't had a chance to kind of get the revs too high, but it does feel pretty darn quick when you give it the the berries. Double overhead cam, 16 valve, inline 4. What's the weight? Yeah, 235 kilos. So that is a bit of a chunky monkey. And it feels a little bit weighty as you weave from side to side on the road, but the chassis seems well together. Like I said, I'm impressed with the suspension. It does feel very compliant, some of the nicest suspension I've used. I'm going back to the front again because I'm quite surprised how big and wide those handlebars are. Imagine if they were kind of just tubular conventional bars, they'd have quite a bend on them, wouldn't they, from the top yoke. So yeah, if you had a kind of a bar going across there and it was clamped on there, there'd be quite a bend coming up to these bars. So they are a good height, these bars, which is why they feel quite close. You see they're quite swept back as well. 19 litre fuel tank, well that's a good sized fuel tank. I'm not sure what that equates to in UK gallons, but I think it was averaging about 47 miles per gallon on the clock a little earlier on, so that's good stuff. What's the rear light look like? What we've got tyre wise, well I'm quite impressed with, they've bunged on Bridgestone S22 tyres. So pretty sticky tyres by all accounts. I've just fitted them to my BM as well. 190/50 ZR17, that's a big old unit on the back then, 190/50. And a 120/70 on the front. .41mm upside down forks, but we do have compression, rebound and preload all adjustable, which is good. I see one of them there. I imagine that is our compression. Please forgive me if I'm wrong. And we got what you can see over there, what I believe to be rebound and preload at the top. Good grab handles there for the pillion. Looks like a decent sized pillion seat as well. That's pretty thick looking seat, isn't it? Oh, they've missed a trick there. Could have had a Kawasaki written on the back there. There's no branding on the back otherwise. That would have been smart. Let's check the lights out, shall we? Low beam. And pretty decent. I'll do. I've lifted the screen up. I pulled over quickly to lift the screen up. Unfortunately, I've got definitely more buffeting. So the screen is effective in as much as you change it its position, and you will get different effect in terms of the wind management. What seems to be the opposite problem? So going back to the screen, yeah, will you be able to find a setting that suits you? I don't know, I'm not you, but four-way adjustability and the two options I tried do certainly seem to make a difference. So if you're worried, get a test ride sorted out, if at all possible. Remember to pull over and try the screen in different positions. So yeah, to the question, would I take her out on a second date? So yeah, overall, I've really enjoyed riding this bike. It has a lot of strings to its bow. It handles well. Yeah, the ride quality is good. Compliant. Suspension is excellent. The engine's smooth and powerful. Brakes are strong, but not snatchy. Overall, I like the bike a lot. So the answer to the question is a no-brainer. Would I take her out on a second date? Oh yes, absolutely. I would be interested to ride this bike some more and find out what she's capable of over a longer distance. Well, thank you to Fraser of Gloucester for allowing me to take this bike out on the little date. So if you're in the market for a big CC all-round motorbike that handles well, that isn't a race bike, isn't a Fireblade, but still pretty quick. Maybe your wrists and your knees and your hips aren't what they used to be, and you need to be sat a little more upright, a little bit less coiled up. Yeah, I would certainly recommend a test ride of this bike because yeah, I've really enjoyed my time with it. As I got my feet down on the ground here, my right calf is actually touching the big old crankcase cover. That does stick out a fair bit, that does. I tried to do an old school clutchless shift then. Because I put a little bit of weight on the gear lever before I changed gear, the quick shifter cut in and then tried to change the gear for me. I can almost see the reason why you might want to switch the quick shifter off.